my only source of income. And God forbid if something happens to my health or the economy, I was not financially prepared. I didn't have a plan B. Does anyone relate to that? And so when I looked at ACN, I thought, what a really neat way I could build something part-time, spare time in the crevices of my schedule with a lot of support. I didn't have to try to figure it out myself. There was people willing to help. And so fast forward today, 10 years later, here we are, and I get to work side by side with my husband in this business. And we're just so grateful because we have a point of reference. You know, before Zoom meetings, you know, before we were able to go virtually, we built this business from living room to living room. See, if we wanted to introduce the concept to other people, we went to your living room, and then if you signed somebody up, we went to their living room, and we would drive from state to state, country to country. You know, we would get on planes and go over across to the other side of the U.S. if we had a team growing from there. And, you know, for Jeff and I, we moved several times. I think it was Mr. Everett, somebody said earlier, who's moved in the last 5 years? Well, in the last 5 years, Jeff and I have moved 4 times. And so because it was the growth of our business happening here and then happening there and launching the marketplace, and you know, then came Zoom technology. And we're just so grateful because now with Zoom, it didn't matter where we lived, where we were working, we could build this business from the comforts of our home or wherever we are in the world, as long as we had internet or data on our cell phones. How many of you guys are excited about that? Right? No limitations at all. You know, and then as an organization, the Rockstar organization, Senior Vice President Mr. Michael Mazer, our mentor for years, told us, hey, you guys should come down and check out Texas. You guys should move to Texas. And, you know, realistically, it did not make sense for all the leaders to come into one marketplace and live together because we would saturate the marketplace. We would crush it. You know, we're great performers in the business. And so it never made sense. But now that we went virtually, it made sense. And here we are today on Easter Sunday. We have Senior Vice Presidents Michael and Patrick Mazer, Regional Vice President Alejandra Kalman, Regional Vice President Michael Eric, Regional Vice Presidents Monica Bernardino, and Regional Vice President Harsh Patel. And do you know that not only do we live in the same state, not only do we live in the same city, but we live approximately 1.4 miles away from each other. Like, if it takes me more than 5.5 minutes to get to Patrick Mazer's house, I'm having a fit. There is traffic, something's on the road, whatever, but you know, not only that, but because of Zoom technology, I can be in 2 places at once. You know, I can support my team even more. Here I am doing a presentation the other day for Regional Director Barvinia Wooten with Stacy Thomas, our up-and-coming leader. She's out in Maryland and Virginia Marketplace, and then I'm also supporting brand new Regional Coordinator Natalie Henshelwood with her team in Chicago. I can be in 2 places at once. How great is that? So you guys, it doesn't matter where you can build this business. When it comes to virtual and Zoom, there are no limitations at all.
Man, I love Zoom presentations, and I want to recognize the presenters that are here today, because you're the ones that are in the trenches. You're the ones that are making it happen for yourself and for your team. So if you're somebody here today and you've already been the presenter on a presentation, I want you to stand up so we can recognize you. Everybody that's actually done an ACN Zoom presentation, you are the presenter. Stay standing. I want everybody to look around. I want you to acknowledge all these individuals that are leading from the front. Stay standing. Stay standing. All the presenters, everybody that's done a presentation. But for those of you that aren't standing, the goal this week is to be the next person to stand. And here's what I'll share. You guys can take a seat here now. Well, here's what I can tell you. For some of you, that's going to be a stretch. But here's what I found. Leaders are like a rubber band. They only have the most power when they're stretched. And see, what's going to allow you to stretch yourself? It's your why. It's your mission. And here's what I found. The bigger your why, the harder you try. And here's the tip that I'll give you. Record your favorite presenters. I remember back in the early days, 16 years ago, I would drive around with Patrick Mazer, and I would have a tape recorder. And I used to record his presentations. And I would be listening to his presentations. My mom would be over the house. She's like, what are you doing with that tape recorder? I'm like, Mom, I'm practicing R&D. She goes, research and development? I go, no, rob and duplicate. See, Patrick told me that when my words became his words, his results would become my results. And here's the other thing I'll tell you guys, when you're in the beginning, when you're new, when you're presenting for the first time, tell people, I'm new. This is my first presentation, but I'm so excited that I wanted to go over the information today, and people will clap for you. And here's what I found. Ignorance on fire is a lot better than knowledge on ice. And sometimes the best presenters are the new presenters, but you're going to stumble a little bit along the way.
See, I want you guys to take a look at some of these famous failures. You know, Jim Carrey, one of my favorite comedians, do you know he was booed off stage from his first comedy performance? And then you have J.K. Rowling, you know, the author of Harry Potter. She was rejected from 23 publishing houses. Now there's adventure parks for what she created, her vision. You know, then you look at, of course, Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times when inventing the light bulb. See, the point of this right here is you're going to fail forward. It is what it is. No one's going to be perfect at the very beginning, right? We're going to be a little bit bad. It's okay. But the point is just pick yourself up and do it anyway. You know, we have another up-and-coming leader, Rowan Lewin, that flew in from Connecticut. You know, he's been in the business for just under a month, but 2.5 weeks into the business, he did a presentation unbeknownst to me, and he yielded a new business partner out of that. See, your guests, they don't know what's a perfect presentation or what's not a perfect presentation. All they have as a point of reference is the very first time you're sharing it to them, and that's it. It's your excitement, but it's okay if you're failing forward. You're getting better time after time after time. So when it comes to the 3 stages of a meeting, Jeff's going to share that with you.
And preparation, when preparation meets opportunity, that's where success lives. So when you're doing a presentation for your new IBO, just remember how it felt your first presentation. Put yourself in their shoes. How many of you were nervous when you hosted your first presentation? Well, guess what? They're going to be nervous too. So get them to meet you on the Zoom a little bit early. Get on 15 minutes early with them. You know, go over what to do. You know, talk to them about how to do an introduction. You know, you want to empower them to just set the tone for a great presentation, but always make sure, take a little note to this, always make sure that you tell them to tell your guests to turn your camera on. Let me say it again. Always make sure you tell the host to tell their guests to turn their camera on. And here's why. Because how many of you have ever done a presentation and it looked like every single person there had a bag over their head? Meaning, people showed up with a bag over their head for the meeting. And see, we communicate with feelings, not words, and when somebody's got a bag over their head, can you see their expression? Can you see what they're doing? You don't even know if they're even paying attention to the presentation. Wait, where's Melissa? Where'd she go? I don't even know if she's listening anymore because she had her camera off. But it's the host, not the presenter, that's got to tell the guests, turn your camera on. Now, during the meeting should be literally just 10 to 15 minutes max, and then after the meeting, we're going to do breakout rooms, and your closers are going to be your testimonials, or you're going to be your closers in the breakout room. Keep it simple, short, and duplicatable.
So here's how to have an effective presentation, okay? So take a moment really quick to introduce yourself. You don't need to give your lifetime story, but just maybe something basic like what's your background prior to ACN, you know, how long you've been with ACN and what you've seen from the training and support as a way to introduce the presentation. Now, you can play the 2-minute ACN video. Some people do, our team doesn't. You know, when you go through the presentation slides, you should take no more than 10 minutes. Really, at the end of the day, you're just reading the presentation slides. All the words are there for you. And then as you select your testimonials, keep it light and keep it short. It's not a ceremonial, it's a testimonial. So pick maybe 2 or 3 people to highlight and share about 30 seconds about their experience with ACN, but no more than 2 minutes. And then at the very end, we'll create some breakout rooms on Zoom meetings. How many of you guys have been in breakout rooms, right? That's a way you can have an intimate conversation with that guest, but you can spend as long as you want in those breakout rooms to answer their questions and getting them started. And so let's just say, for example, you guys, we're going to do a quick presentation just so you can have as an example for those of you that's striving to work towards giving your first ACN presentation. I would recommend you to grab your cameras out and record Jeff because he's going to do a presentation in 8 minutes or less. So you can use that as your example to learn. But let's just say I'm the host of the presentation. I've invited all of you. How great would that meeting be if I invited all of you, right? All of you guys to sign up. So let's say I'm the host. I'm going to say, hey, everybody, thanks so much for being here. I'm so excited for you to get this information because we have a great speaker here today. He's an expert at the topic, and I want you guys to lean into the information, and I want you to know that I specifically invited you because I believe we can do this together. So please help me welcome Regional Vice President, Mr. Jeff Street.
Melissa, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Guys, Melissa's been off to an amazing start with her business. I'm so excited to have partnered with her. Let's give her a big round of applause and excited to help her get her business started today. So, quick background on me. I've been doing this now for 16 years. Background as a small business owner. Owned a bunch of Nextel wireless stores. If you remember the walkie-talkie phones, that's what I did. And what appealed to me about this business is a concept called recurring revenue or residual income. I started very part-time. 6 months in, made a decision to walk away from my other business, never walk back in, and now this has been the only thing I've done for over 16 years straight, and I'm passionate about the business, but my goal here today is to share some information with you, and what you do with the information is completely up to you. So if you look at our company, ACN, they got started in 1993. They're celebrating their 30th year in business this coming January, and they are the world's largest direct seller of telecommunications, home services, and energy. Now, what ACN does is they offer essential residential and business services that all of us use every day. Wireless service, high-speed internet and bundles and television, gas and electricity, home security and automation, credit card processing, and identity theft protection insurance. And we work with some of the biggest brands out there: ACN, DirecTV, Dish Network, Vivint Smart Home Security, Spectrum, just to name a few. And there's two things that we do. Number one, help people save money on bills they're already paying. How many of us know some people that pay these bills? Number two is we connect people to a service that they need that they don't have yet. But what we're most excited about is our new service that we're just launching called Impact Health. How many of you would agree that there's a lot of people out there that are very, very upset about the healthcare situation in this country? You know, they say the number one financial concern for 80% of Americans is healthcare costs, and we're just launching a product called Impact Healthcare where we can save a customer 30 to 50% on the cost of their traditional healthcare. Now, the reason that we can do what we do is our business model. You know, what we do is most service providers spend a lot of money on media advertising and internet marketing to go out and attract customers. What we do is we use independent business owners like you and I and give us an opportunity to compete with some of the biggest industries out there where we can help a customer in many cases save money, and instead of paying celebrities, ACN pays people like you and I. Now, when it comes to getting started, it's $199 one time for somebody to start, own, and operate their own ACN business, and the only operating cost at all is $25 a month. Now, here's what ACN does for you and I. They give you a personalized website. They host it. They update it. They do the marketing material, the reporting, the tracking. They handle all the customer service. And we also have a membership reward program called ACN Perks. How many of you like perks and rewards? And we have a membership reward program called ACN Perks that just for being an ACN independent business owner, you can actually get cash back, on average 5% cash back on over 300 retailers all throughout the country just for being an ACN independent business owner. But let me talk to you about how do we make money. There's 4 different ways. And the first way is personal customer bonuses. See, every month, ACN will pay you a bonus based on the amount of services that get connected on your website. And a service is not a person, it's a bill. So let's just say, for example, that one person is electricity, internet, TV, and home security at their house. That's 4 services, even though it's one person. So who do these services can add up really quickly, and so can these bonuses. Watch this. Any month that you refer 5 services, it's a $200 bonus. 8 in a month, $400. $11,600 plus an additional $200 for every 3 services afterwards, and there's no limit to it. But what got my attention 16 years ago was residual income. See, I owned cell phone stores for 5 years, and my employees and I sold thousands of phones. And every time myself or one of my employees sold a phone, we got paid one time. But the next month, here's what we had to do: start over. The next month, here's what we had to do: start over. How many of us can relate to that? So when I got introduced to this next concept, I was excited. See, ACN will pay you what's called residual income, where they'll pay you up to 20% of a customer's bill month after month, year after year, for the life of them being a customer. And think about it for a minute. How long do people pay these bills for? Forever. Would you agree? You can pay off your home, you can pay off your car, but you can never pay off your gas, your electric, or your cell phone bill. See, I have customers that I signed up 16 years ago that are still paying their bill today, and I've gotten paid every month for 16 years based on a one-time conversation. That's residual income. Now, the third piece of this is you could also build a team where you can introduce the concept to other people. And we'll do Zoom meetings just like this for you. We'll help you introduce the concept to others. And anybody that gets started, that joins your team, when they refer 3 services, they get a bonus, but so do you. You earn up to $300 every time that happens, and there's no limit to the amount of people that can join your team, and there's no limit, more importantly, to the amount of customers your team can acquire. And ACN will pay you an overriding residual income of 4% on all the customers gathered by the representatives in your team, month after month, year after year, for the life of them being a customer. But the key to success in anything is training. It's a system. And our team has had a lot of success, and the reason we've had success is because of a system that we have. And we have an individual that's here with us today that's been following the system, that's gone through her training, and I'd love to have her share a little bit about herself, who she is, how long she's been doing this, and how many reps and customers her team has, and that's Melissa Street.
Well, hello again, everybody. My name is Melissa Street, and I have been a part of ACN now for 10 years. My background by trade was in the insurance industry, and today, because of the support in the system, my team and I, we've yielded thousands of customers that pay a bill every month, but it could not have been done without the support and the training of the ACN system.
Melissa, I appreciate that. Melissa talked about training, and training is the key. And this Saturday, we're going to be doing a training that we're really excited about, where we have one of the top 15 regional directors in customer production of all of North American ACN, Mr. Craig Clark and Ashley Breyer, is actually headlining our training this Saturday. We can't wait for you to be at our training, where we're going to teach you step by step how to do this. But let me go back to Melissa for a minute. How many of you heard her story and heard thousands of customers and said, how did she do it? See, here's what she did. She saw a presentation like this and said, I'm in. A few days later, she attended a training just like the one we're doing this Saturday. A few days afterwards, she hosted a meeting like this, said hello, and introduced a presenter like me to do a presentation. Some people got started, some people became customers. Now today she has thousands of customers in her team, but how many of you could do what Melissa did to get it started? Well, if you can see yourself doing that, welcome to the team. We're going to open up some breakout rooms to answer any questions you have and to help you get started.
So there's the presentation, but now when we're ending the presentation and we're moving people into the breakout room, here's what's happening. You want to assign at least 1 leader per breakout room. And when we're in the breakout room, our goal is to, yes, answer some questions, but ultimately help people get enrolled as a new business partner. And all it really takes is asking the simple question of, are you ready to get started? So can you do me a favor, turn to your neighbor and just ask them that question. Are you ready to get started? All right, okay, did someone say yes? That's all it is. Listen, you're only going to get business if you ask for business. If you don't ask for business, you're not going to get it, right? It's as simple as that. Are you ready to get started? And when in doubt, if you don't feel very confident in the breakout room, when in doubt, promote the training. Let the events build your business. I can't tell you how many times an event has helped me close a new business partner or a customer. So build from event to event. So when in doubt, promote a training. And in the end, if they're not interested, just ask them this question. Are you open to a quote to evaluate your healthcare costs? Now turn to your neighbor and ask that question.
Oh, yeah.
You got to get good at that question because we're excited about impact healthcare. So are you open to a quote to evaluate your healthcare cost?
Well, I love that we get reps in, we get customers on this meeting, but it all starts with you. See, it's time for you to present, so set a goal to do at least one presentation a day. The more you do, the better you'll get, and it all starts with one. See, every day you're one rep away from momentum. Every day, you're one rep away from momentum, and it's all about the power of one. As we close this out, I need you to do an exercise with me real quick in closing. I want you to take your index finger, and I want you to take your hand and open up your palm. And then on the count of three, what we're going to do is we're just going to take our index finger, and we're going to start tapping our palm with it. So 3, 2, 1. Now one recruits another, now you have two fingers. Now those two get together, they do a Zoom meeting, and now you got a third leader, 3 fingers. Now all of a sudden, they're doing meetings, they find a 4th leader, now 4 are running together. And those 4 together, they keep doing Zoom meetings, they identify a 5th leader. And now you got 5. And see, now you're going to start experiencing momentum, and here's what I want you to do, everybody. I want you to say impact, 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 impact. Welcome to momentum, everybody. It all starts with what? There's Jeff Street.